Hey folks, SC Closer here. Friends call me Vic. This is another episode of Vic's Sea Stories and Tall Tales. This one I'm going to get into. This is a mini series in the series, okay? These are some of my favorite stories. I call them, I'm going to have to change the name. I'm not going to be able to use this fellow's name as much as I want to. I don't want to call him out by his name. So I'm going to call these the Ensign Mulligan mini-series of stories inside of this series that I'm doing here, Sea Tales or Sea Stories. Ensign Mulligan, he got on the ship about the same time I did, I guess. There was a bunch of ensigns that came on together. When I came on board the ship, they had just come out of a yard period. They were in a build-up to get ready to, and having inspections on to get ready to go on a deployment. So they had really, a lot of people had left the ship while it was in the yards, and they just weren't getting new people. And so because the ship was now on a build-up period or a work-up period, they started sending a lot of people to the ship. So we got 3 or 4 ensigns, maybe 4. Maybe 5, I don't remember. We got a whole bunch of them report on board about the same time that I went there, and I went there with 5 other electricians, and we were all E3s, and we all went out there together as well. But Ensign Mulligan is a very interesting cat. I'll try not to pack too much of it in this story, but my first run-in with Ensign Mulligan was in repair locker number 2. Now, repair lockers on a ship are like fire departments. But I was in repair locker number 2, and we were forward part of the ship from the O1 or from the main deck, which was the hangar bay, down. That was our area. Actually, it was below the hangar deck, so I guess it was the main deck down. Main deck down, and the main deck was second deck. And we were responsible for anything up there. So if there's any fires, if there's any kind of casualty, any kind of flooding, anything like that, that was our area. Well, Ensign Mulligan, he was assigned the repair locker officer. So he was in charge of us. New ensign, he's in charge of us. And I could tell right away that this guy, I don't know about him, okay? And we had, and I think I mentioned to you in another one, the phone talker in repair 2 was Terry. I'm just going to call him Terry, the fellow from Boston that I was telling you about that met us on the quarterdeck from the Thailand adventure. Well, Terry, man, he would tell Ensign Mulligan, almost said his name, he would tell him flat out, says, Ensign Mulligan, you're wrong about this. You're wrong about this, or you need to do this, you need to do that. But he wouldn't have none of it. He wouldn't have none of it. And I don't know, the guy, seriously, he was just always messing everything up. I think we all felt like eventually he would catch on, but it just never seemed like he did. So, we would have drill after drill after drill, and repair 2, which was our repair locker, was the worst one on the ship. I mean, and it was because of Ensign Mulligan in the leadership. Prior to him taking over, we had a warrant officer, and we weren't that bad. The warrant officer was in charge right when I first got there. So I guess Ensign Mulligan got there a little after I did. Yeah, he was supposed to have been, taking over, and he eventually did. And he just, everybody knew he wasn't very good. So when we got up to the point where we were having the big drills, and they were the inspections, the ship and the damage control folks on the ship, the DCA and everything, they had a lot of say-so when they designed the drills about what was going to happen. And we were having a huge inspection, and I think the whole idea is to keep repair 2 out of it as much as possible, so that we couldn't mess anything up. And we pretty much knew that because we knew that we were the weak link. Now, they're sitting up there, they're tracking everything. Terry's the phone talker. He's tracking what all's going on. So the way this drill's going, we're surrounded by fire, but there's no casualties in our area. Okay, nothing's going on in Repair 2 area, which is good. We're sitting this thing out. But Ensign Mulligan, he could not sit this thing out. He was itching to get into this thing, right? He wanted to prove himself. He had something. So he was, sending, people out looking here and sending people there. You got people running around checking bulkheads and you're running around, they're doing all this stuff, and they're not finding anything. The inspectors are just leaving us out. Well, there was a fire up in the hangar bay above us, according, to the drill. And he was itching for us to get in there. And so he was kind of following this stuff. And the repair locker that was up there in the hangar bay, they could have been 4. I don't remember. But whichever repair locker was up there, they were not able to do much with that fire. Ensign Mulligan decided that we were going to get into this. So he orders a hose team to go up this hatch and go up there and fight that fire. Now, Terry told Ensign Mulligan, said, "Sir, you cannot open that hatch. The fire is directly above us. You cannot open that hatch." And Ensign Mulligan said, "No, I think it's a little further aft. I think you're wrong. And I think we could get up there and we could put that fire out and we could get into this thing." And Terry told Ensign Mulligan, says, "Ensign Mulligan, they don't want us in this. They're trying to keep us out. We need to stay where we are, and we cannot go up there because there's a fire above our heads." And Ensign Mulligan says, "I'm in charge. I order y'all, the hose team, to open that hatch and get up there." He goes, "Open that hatch." So we open the hatch and the hose team goes up. He sends me up too. So I go up. So we get up there and we're in a trunk a trunk area, they call it, up here in the hangar bay. And an inspector comes around the corner, looks at us. He goes, "What the hell are y'all doing up here?" And we're like, "Ensign Mulligan sent us up here to help fight fire, sir." And he looked at us and he says, "Well, you just all walked into the fire." He says, "So y'all are all dead." He says, "So y'all just all sit down." And he pointed at me, he said, "You're dead too." And I was like, "Good, I'm sitting this out." So I was sitting back, kicking back with my feet up. And he said, "Then y'all just let the fire spread down to the second deck. But you just wiped out your whole repair locker. So we're going to have to get somebody else. Y'all going to have to get somebody else down there to fight that fire, because you just killed the whole repair locker." Ensign Mulligan turned blood red. This was my first real taste of the leadership of Ensign Mulligan.